All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning from Finland. Welcome and thank you for joining us on our first series of webinar. Today, we'll have three speakers who will be talking about very insightful materials. For the first speaker, we're going to have Laura Duran. She will be talking about educational leadership, and it will be followed by a presentation from Anna Smolander, who will be talking about childhood education and pedagogy in Finland. And afterwards, our Kodarit CEO, Suvi Syrjäläinen, she will be talking about Kodarit and why Kodarit is the best way to teach coding to children. All right, without further ado, I will welcome the first presenter, Laura Duran.
Hello, everyone. So my name is Laura Duran, as Yoga already introduced me. And here's a little bit about myself. I have a master's from London School of Economics and Political Science and from Roskilde University. I have lived around 12 years in different countries like Denmark, UK, Sweden, Finland, and I grew up in Mexico. Reason why I have 3 citizenships, and I speak fluently Spanish, English, Swedish, and some Finnish. Education has always been a motivation for me, and that's why I chose the topic of educational leadership. And that's also because it is a very hot topic at universities in Finland at the moment. So educational leadership is focused on 2 concepts. It's the education and the leadership, and it's also sometimes associated with school management. However, there is a distinction. Management is more task-oriented, and the educational leadership is more of an interpersonal nature. It is not a position, but both of them, the educational leadership and the school management, are part of the same phenomenon. One can be a leader in many ways through, for example, position, and that means like formal roles and informal roles within, for example, a school. Another one is the role. One can support, for example, students, teachers, other staff at the school, and one can also try to be influential to the students and to all the people around working in this institution. And finally, through task that ranges from caring for your own group, for example, your classroom, your team, your organization, or, for example, to getting to a macro level in which you can help in thinking more about educational policy. So who is a leader? That's quite a hard, difficult question to define, but it does go beyond one's own school or one's own place of work. And it includes all the people working in the field of education. Educational leadership work is diverse. This diversity is reflected in, for example, balancing needs, motivating and facilitating in your organization. This is a responsibility that extends from general development to leading learning and to the society or an individual's well-being. This diversity in the educational leaders' work can also be seen in these 5 categories. Either supporting students, coordinating teachers, and guiding people in your own institution. And for example, at Kodarit, we focus on all these, guiding and teaching each other, but also there is an impact that we want to create by educating young generations and influencing citizens. So our goal is to create this impact and spillover effect, not only that remains in Finland, but that this Finnish education is taken to the rest of the world. Here's this slide about the educational system in Finland. To the right, you see the levels that might be familiar from early childhood to I'm going through pre-primary education, basic, preparatory, then matriculation, and then the 3 levels at university from bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees. This is how the educational system is in Finland now since 2021. This picture is from 2021, but I'm going to talk a little bit about how we got to this point. So the basic idea of the Finnish education system is to provide all citizens equal opportunities to receive education and then to achieve social mobility. However, this system didn't look like this from the beginning. It has been evolving through history. First, going back a little bit or quite a lot to the Middle Ages, the idea was like it was fragmented. It was led by the church, and there were a lot of differences in the class society during medieval ages and inequality between, for example, countryside and towns. This started changing, and after the Second World War, the education was developed for serving the whole nation, and the role of the state was really strengthened and changed. This led to achieve a welfare state as we know it up to this day, and in which equality and equity were the goals of society. So in Finland, education is seen as a key policy for reaching these 2 goals, equality and equity. And in that sense, Finland has a radical view to equity and equality, in which it's seen that people are different and need different kind of support to reach the same goals, which is something also that we live by at Kodarit. We want to push everyone like to their best of capacities and achieve the same goals. So in this sense, and after this historical overview, we can see that Finland is moving towards becoming a nation-level experiment laboratory. What this means is there has been a shift of paradigm. There are 2 paradigms, this Newtonian and quantum, and the teachers are free to decide how to teach, which is the core of the Finnish education. I'm going to go a little bit more in detail about this paradigm change, because I know this might be new for some people. So the first column is the Newtonian, and the second column is the quantum. It doesn't show there very well, I think, or maybe it does. It does. So this shift of paradigm, we can see that the Newtonian, how education used to be perceived, was like it was based in hierarchy, ruling from top to down, having been more passive. There was only one method that suited everyone. There was based in competition and effectivity, but there was not much room apart from this. And this is something we can see that's happening in many schools around the world still. The idea of the quantum paradigm is that there is uncertainty. It's a little bit more chaotic and it's more complex to understand. It implies a lot of uncertainty and predictability. There is not only one method, there are many. It's based in collaboration, in flexibility, and being proactive. And this is what is happening in Finland and what educational leaders are pushing for, to reach towards this. And that is why in the previous slide, I mentioned that Finland is a nation-level experiment laboratory, because all these changes are happening, and the idea is to find different methods at work. And this is just an overview. We don't need to focus on all the details. What I want to show in this is the education system. It comes from the parliament, and that's why it says it's steered from the top. But if you see this red circle, it is because it's built from the bottom, and these are the schools. and other educational institutions. And it's also said that it's supported from the sides, that is for actors like, for example, universities, NGOs, and trade unions that contribute. And all these actors are together working to contribute and help in this change of paradigm to this quantum paradigm. So, what's a reflection of this? So the education system is changing a lot. These changes are quite dramatic, and they are changing and how educational professionals are conceiving who they are themselves and what they do, and what they are obliged to do to be capable of contributing to this changing paradigm. So as a reflection for the future, the educational leaders' competences and capabilities must be developed. And this in terms of three things: identity, expertise, and agency. So identity, how they think about themselves and their work; expertise, all their educational background and experience in the field; and then agency, how they take initiative to make things happen. So how the professionals will take this agency and adapt to this paradigm shift is going to be defining if Finland is going to succeed in whether or not we change to this paradigm. So we as a society are depending on this, and that's why we need to equip our educational leaders with the tools they need to achieve this in the future. And as you will see in the upcoming presentations, Kodarit is going to do its share to make this gap. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Laura. I hope you guys now already warm up into the topic of today. So our next presenter will be Anna Smolander. She will be talking about the educational in Finland and pedagogy.
Okay, thank you. If you stop sharing Laura's slide, thank you. I can share mine. Pleasure to meet you all. Maybe we have met earlier with some of you. My name is Anna Smolander, and as I started 18 years ago, my career as a teacher, the world was very different. At that time, we were still having a little bit left of the classical classroom work. The children were reading a lot. And since that, the globalization and the digitalization and all the pace of the technology has been a lot quicker than anyone at that time could have imagined. And that has affected to my career as well. Quite soon I realized that my skills, as they were back then, will not be enough for the rest of my career. So I continued with my studies. I got a degree in language technology, and I found a new technology for children for learning. So it's automated speech recognition. And in addition to that, I got a degree in business, and also I had been involved in developing education since that, especially in digital formats at all levels, and educating adults as well. So I'm kind of myself an example how the world has changed last 18 years, career-wise and learning-wise. And today I'm going to talk to you in general about education and pedagogy in Finland, but from the perspective, of course, from the needs of today. And I will quickly walk you through the history of Finland, what comes to the education, and how it impacts the society, and what are our challenges today. And like, if you think about Finland 100 years ago, we had just become independent finally. And at that time, we didn't have many things. We were quite poor country, but we had great values. We had the belief in ourselves, and especially the Finnish nation had belief in education. And especially after the World War II, we started to create a healthy society based on our values, which include strongly nature. And Finland was one of the first countries that really started to pay attention to the mother's well-being, which actually created a solid base for the well-being in general, which created then interest in the society, and which has left to the eagerness and the belief in education and the school system. And little by little, this whole system was structured so that at the end, we had Nokia, we had great companies ourselves, and today we are great at innovations at too. But the work will not be never finished. We have to renew in our thinking and in our methods all the time. If you take a look at here, still, even if some Finnish teachers and professional, of course, they need to be evaluating their own actions, their own skills and their capability all the time in comparison with other countries, but yet still Finland is offering great education for all the children. If you think about many other Western countries, the greatest opportunities, the most beautiful school buildings or the best books are offered only a little part of the children. But in Finland and the Nordic countries in general, everyone are at least try to offer the same opportunities. Of course, we can't cut out the social economical background from the children and impact everything, but we are trying to do that for our best. So in Finland, for example, we have only a little amount of private schools because the public ones are so good. And here's some highlights of education in Finland in general. What are the great things that I think that are different from many countries, for example, in comparison with UK or Germany or France or Italy, where I've been also involved in education. So I would say the first and most important thing is the education of teachers. In Finland, teachers do have master degrees, and those people who want to become teachers, they are really good ones. They are motivated and they have great ideas, and they are eager to become teachers. And then step 2 is the equal opportunities, what I mentioned a little bit in my last slide, but also that the school is 100% free of charge and has warm meals and the national curriculum for all. They are very impactful things in this whole system. And also investing in well-being. Of course, this is a challenge today for everywhere. It's not only a challenge in Finland, but it's a challenge in any countries that the children are getting exhausted, they are getting very stressed because of the happenings around and the pace of technology and the demands and all the attempts they want to are offered. They are offered so many different things that the young people are often kind of lost with their life because already like having too many nice things around them, and on the other hand they have enormous also expectations. Therefore, the well-being in school life and in whole society should be always taken into account. And teachers' independence is special in Finland too. So even though we have this national curriculum for all, the teachers are allowed to decide themselves how do they organize the teaching and what kind of methods do they use. So they are allowed to use their own strengths in that. So in Finland, they know that there are two great ways for example, to teach math in classrooms next to each other, because the teachers might have very different strengths. And also co-work and development with the governmental entities, and the trust is very important. But our challenge today is that we need to transfer education in a rapidly changing world. Finland is changing, but the society and the globe in general is changing all the time, and we need to and it's changing quickly, and we need to somehow find answers how to manage in that world. And one of these new skills that everybody is talking about now, and what is often considered the biggest lack in any school system globally, is the lack of coding skill. And what they mean with coding is not only kind of like you are able to write code yourself and program systems, but it's rather it's understood a wider perspective. It means like you are having these many skills that make you kind of like give you the basis of succeeding in the working life and the study life today. So it means that one needs to have critical thinking skill, creativity, collaboration skill, and communication skill, and the children should be fluent also in information literacy and media literacy and technology literacy as well, and including cybersecurity threats as well. So this should be skills that they start to gain as soon as possible because they are anyway in that world. And this means that we can offer these skills for children all around Finland, but who is going to teach them or in the world? We need teachers who first have gained these skills and this knowledge and information and the skills how to teach them in an age appropriate way. And therefore we are also offering education for teachers because we realized quite soon at Kodarit that there is no education offered enough for the teachers anywhere basically regarding these new skills. And why should then children also start achieving these new coding skills at young age? And it basically is that when you are 18 and you suddenly should have all these on your plate to learn, it's going to be an enormous job and it's going to be too late. So therefore, if the children are given the education and the skills little by little at the age appropriate way, and so you are kind of crossing the boundaries before they even exist. And one of the biggest boundaries is our attitude and our kind of psychological thinking, that I'm not a programmer, or this is not my identity, or so on. But if we have given them that these are normal tools, this is something that everyone can master, they will be able to continue taking over these skills to their later life as well. And these are the things that we are taking steps with younger children at Kodarit too. So we are learning to and giving them, for example, these terms and these words. What do they mean? And so it's not going to be any kind of monster waiting there once they are 15 or 17, but when they are 5, they may as well know what is debugging, what is cybersecurity and how the computers work. And for this, we developed a baby Kodarit program, and we were adapting Finnish early childhood education into coding classes. And there we wanted to take many important areas into one. And we started there that we wanted to create a motivational and efficient curriculum because motivation is the key for any learning. And to create that, we did academic co-work and development together, and did lots of reading when we were developing and picking the items and the facts and the methods for our classes. And then we utilize playful and gamified learning because these children who attend our classes, they might not know how to read or write at the beginning. So therefore we had to use, for example, visual coding elements to enable them this. And also cybersecurity, we wanted to have it there because we need to take responsibility too, that if we are taking children to the digital world, we need to take care that they have the skills that they can cope in their later life too. And also sustainable values are in the heart of Kodarit. So we are, for example, do not use paper or such things in our office. We don't even have a printer. And in our pedagogical approach, we obey the Finnish early childhood education values. So we think learning is a social cultural process, and therefore we, for example, do lots of discussions. We make sure that the children have understood the right things and they are able to explain these things to each other. So they're kind of like a micro teachers themselves to each other. And also we are encouraging them to ask for help because we want to break that kind of like a dilemma that children think that only if you are able to do something you are good. But good students also know how to ask for help, and also strengthening social skills is in the heart of our classes here. And also that feeling of belonging, that everybody is welcome as they are, which leads to then self-confidence in learning as well. And here I would like to say that we have very different personalities. We have children with very different backgrounds in our classes, but yet we have been able to learn very nicely together. So I would like to encourage here that coding classes actually bring opportunities to combine teaching for many different children. And here are some of the great things what we are doing them with small children aged from 5 to 7. So we are identifying already phenomena and problems, and they are doing brainstorming and communicating and comparing and solving problem, which then creates a great basis to structure the understanding and the concepts for the later stages of coding skills. And of course, we have been taking lots of these elements of good quality lesson planning in account while we were creating our lessons for younger children too. So this lesson sequence is applied for younger children, and the topics are tried to keep so that they are wide but not too wide, so that the children are able to learn them properly, and also that the constructive design is there all the time. And yet also this, what I'm really stressing today, that keeping the children safe in the digital world is the challenge for us all. So please, whatever you do, make sure that the cybersecurity aspects are involved in all the teaching and educating, because yes, you will end up with a situation when they are bullying for each other, but do they already know what bullying can mean, and what is allowed and what is not, and what can they do if they face these difficult situations? And here at the end, I would like to quote Linus Torvalds, who said that most good programmers do programming not because they are expected to get paid or get adulation by the public, but because it is fun to program. And this is something what we are taking to all age groups in Finland and now globally as well. So we are giving the joy of programming for all the children, starting at the age of 5 and continuing that to the adulthood as well. And I'd like to thank you on my behalf. And if you have any questions, please let me know after Suvi's presentation, who is going to be here next. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Anna. And for those of you who didn't know or have little idea about how the childhood education and pedagogy in Finland, hopefully after Anna's presentation, it have enlightened you about the topic. And now, we're going to have Suvi Syrjäläinen, the CEO of Kodarit. She will be presenting Kodarit and why Kodarit is the best way to teach coding to children. So I will present you, Suvi.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we need to say something.
So hello everyone, I'm Suvi Syrjäläinen, and like Joka said, I'm CEO of Kodarit, and I founded this company 6-7 years ago. And before that, I worked as a software engineer in high-tech companies. And the reason why I established Kodarit, coding school for children, is that I think that coding is important. And why I think that it's important is that our world is getting more digital by a minute. And what does that mean? It means that we use these kind of smart devices and applications to our everyday activities. that we have used to do with pen or paper, or for example, we have used our legs to go somewhere. So for example, when I was a child and I wanted to navigate to somewhere, I needed to use those huge paper maps, but now I have a Google Maps. Or if I wanted to make a reservation or haircut appointment, I needed to interrupt someone and call to that place or go to that place and ask that, do you have a time for me or table for me? But now I have different kind of apps. And if we want to influence that, what kind of smart devices and applications we can use, we need to understand what is coding, because code is an intelligence of these devices. So that was the main reason, but of course I wanted always also to offer fun hobby to children who want to play and do things with their computers, so alternative hobby. So our story. So I founded Kodarit here in my hometown Tampere in Finland in 2015. And after that, Kodarit became quite fast the leading coding schools in Finland. And we expanded to 6 biggest cities here in Finland. But then in year 2020, COVID came and we had only on-site students in our 7 offices. So we needed to change our all on-site students to online students during a 1 weekend. But that gave us opportunity to offer our coding lessons also to children outside of Finland. And then we started to plan our international strategy also. Now we are in year 2020, and here are some numbers what we are doing now. So in this year we have had 220 coding groups to 5 to 18 years old students, and approximately 1,400 individual students. So we provide our courses to private customers or private families and children, but then we also collaborate with municipalities. So we provide and those municipalities then pay those children coding classes who are participating to our school courses. Then we have summer camps in summer times. So last summer we have altogether 30 online, on-site, and then also hybrid camps with 450 summer campers. And then our international activities, we have offered Kodarit coding courses in Indonesia and Australia, and started to cooperate with Malaysia also in this year. And so that was our story. But then to the main topic. So why we think that we know the best way to teach coding to children. Our curriculum is based in this kind of level course system that we have developed here in Kodarit. So this is really straightforward. So our students or those families and parents or schools, so our customers, they don't need to know what they need to study if they want to study coding. So, for example, our smallest children, so 5 to 7 years old children, they start from baby Kodarit level, where we teach those basic computer skills. So like how to use mouse or keyboard, or how to draw something with your computer. And then we do those kind of visual coding exercises with picture commands, so without any words. So our smallest students, they don't even need reading or writing skills when they start to code. Then our 8 to 18 years old students, they start from level 1. So where we start to practice visual coding exercises with them, and end of that level 1, we start to study also written code with Python. Then in level 2, we continue with Python, and start to study web programming with HTML and CSS. Then level 3 topic is JavaScript. Then level 4, we start to use game engines. And after that, all our 4-level students end up to the black belt level, where students can continue to code with us as long as they want. So we have always some new trendy coding project for them to every semester, every new semester. And this level course system and our pedagogy is certified with Education Alliance Finland certificate. We have selected only the best and the pedagogically highest quality content to our classes. So here you can see, for example, some code.org, Scratch and Microbit. So these are visual coding environments that are developed for children. And Code Combat, Carol the Robot, Codesters, and this Silent Teacher Toxicode, these are Python environments that are developed to children. They said that my webcam is off. Okay, so there is some problem. Okay. But rest of these are programming environments that professional developers use also. But we have developed fun exercises that are suitable for children for these environments also. And here you can see. So if you have thought that coding is something like this, that only black and white, and the results are also, here you can see all those colorful results that we do in Kodarit. So we can, for example, create our own maps, our own paint, different kind of 2D games. This is, for example, made with Unity. Then 3D games. We can create art, snake games, web pages, etc. And it seems that our students love our courses. We have gotten really good feedback like this, that coding is fun, coding support my dream, Kodarit is great, the teacher is nice and funny, etc. And when we have collected feedback, 92% of our learners recommends Kodarit courses to others. But the best feedback that we can get is that average 70% of our students continue always from previous level to next level. And that is what we have done so far in Kodarit. Now we have packaged our uniqueness and excellence to Kodarit license package that we offer to our international customers. So, idea of this licensing package is that we act as a reference coding school here in Finland, and our licenses are able to copy all of these, our business model, our license handbook, and everything, so that they cannot copy our license handbook, but those marketing materials, etc. So here you can see that what our Kodarit license package contains. So license handbook, teacher's handbook, teacher trainings, all curriculum and scripts to all of our curriculum classes, then business model to establish local coding school, then brand book, marketing materials, social media accounts, then Moodle accounts, web page, email addresses, to Zoom rooms, to online courses, technical support, and then you can use also our certificates. And of course, we have our certificates also to our students when they have passed some level. And here you can see our licensing pricing. So if you are interested to start coding school with Kodarit license, you can first just take a start package that contains that business model and web page, brand, etc. And you can start to advertise your coding school. And after that, you can decide that if you, for example, want to start only level 1, you can buy it. And if you want to continue and, for example, provide also baby Kodarit level, then you can buy it. And if you want that your students, so the Kodarit 1 level students can continue level 2, then you can buy Kodarit 2 level later. And we don't take any royalties from your first operating years, but after that, our royalty fee is then 20% of course fees. Then we have also royalty free license option, and this is mainly, though we have thought that this is for educational institutes. So if you take this package, then you do not need to report that how many students you have, etc. So we have also this option. And when you want to establish some new business, you should be, or you are interested on the return on investment. So because the areas are different, and it is not possible to give one calculation to one place, we are able to calculate your area return on investment. So if you provide these kind of informations for us, like price per hour of class in your city or region, salaries, price of rental office, etc., we are able to calculate this one. So if you are interested about our license, please contact us. So here you can see my and Yoga's and Laura's and Anna's contact information. So please do not hesitate to contact us and ask more. And now, thank you. And now it's also time for your questions, and we will answer you. Okay, back to Yoga.
Thank you, Suvi.